Hi, and welcome to SMECO Connects. I'm Tom Dennison. I am filling in for Sonia Cox, our president and CEO, and our normal host of the podcast. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome two of our SMECO employees here today. We have Natasha and John, both of whom are here to talk about electric vehicles today and kind of what we do here at SMECO. And certainly from Natasha's standpoint, some of her personal experiences with electric vehicles, and hopefully we can talk about the issue and tell everybody what we're doing here and how maybe some folks can learn from our experiences and what we offer and what's available. So why don't we just introduce ourselves? Natasha, start with you and tell us who you are, what you do, and how many years you've been at SMECO.
Natasha Law. I've been at SMECO, I think, forever. About 26 years. I started it as a tree trimmer, and I've worked up through meter reading, engineering, IT, and now I'm in energy and tech in the sustainability department. So I handle both solar interconnections and our EV programs for SMECO.
And Natasha is a repeat guest on SMECO's podcast, SMECO Connects. The last time she was here, we were talking about solar. So thank you, Natasha, for being back. John, why don't you introduce yourself?
So I'm John Cockrum. I have been at SMECO for 18 years. I'm the fleet services manager. Started as a mechanic and worked my way up. So now I'm running the fleet. I haven't been here quite as long as Natasha, but
yeah, you and I were
like
here about the same amount of time. I can remember whenever I first got here, you were a mechanic and working for Mike Knott back in the day and Steve Montgomery and those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys are some of the great retirees who we have here. And it's been great watching you move up the ladder, and now you're the head man in charge over there. So I think let's just start off with electric vehicles are becoming more and more prevalent, not only in Maryland, but across the country, especially here in Southern Maryland as well. So at SMECO, we need to, be prepared to answer questions for people about electric vehicles, what needs to happen. And so kind of with that as a backdrop, Natasha, let's just start with you. What are some common things that people ask you about when it comes to electric vehicles? Are they thinking about buying one, or how do they charge them, et cetera, et cetera?
I get a couple of different questions. One of them usually is around range and how far can I go? Because I do drive an EV. I have a Mach-E, a Ford Mach-E, and I really like it. I get about 325 miles to a charge in the summer. The winter time, because of the way the heating is, it drops it down to about 285 per charge. So I have a lot of customers that ask me that. How do I charge? How often do I charge? And because I charge at home, their next question is always, what does it do to your energy bill? And my electric bill did go up because I charge my car maybe once, twice a week. It's about 60 extra kilowatts. So, it did go up, usually about $30 sometimes, a little more, a little less, depending on what I do with my car. So that kind of helps a customer understand. It gives a good comparison to what you would expect to use with gas versus electric. I like it. It's fun. It's very fast. My car goes 0 to 60, and I don't recommend, but 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And I try to do that at every stoplight. They're fun to drive. Even the ones that aren't the Mach-E. I drive a Chevy Bolt for SMECO when I commission EV chargers. It's quick. It's peppy. Yeah. It's definitely peppy. It is a SMECO vehicle, so I don't drive it like I drive my personal vehicle. But it's peppy. Driving that car for SMECO is what drove me to get an EV. I really liked the idea of the EV, and it was good. It was a good buy. So that's usually those are the questions. How far can you go, and what does it do to your energy bill? And then usually the next thing is, how do I get a charger installed in my house?
That's a great segue, Natasha. What's available in terms of charging here in Southern Maryland, and kind of what do people kind of need to know when it comes to charging?
So the state of Maryland did, they came to SMECO and asked us to help get over the range anxiety. And SMECO initially had a pilot where we were installing public chargers between level 2s, which take anywhere between 4 and 6 hours to charge your vehicle, and DC fast chargers, which can take as little as 20 minutes and about as long as an hour, depending on how much charge you need in a vehicle. We started there. We have public chargers, but now a lot more private businesses going into it. The Royal Farms, Wawa's, Tesla, you see them, those DC fast chargers, which are level 3s, and they're pretty quick. They're going in. So now we see a lot of people that are using those, or they're charging at home, or you have, workplace charging. Those are kind of the places where people are charging the most. Because you have to charge an EV, you need a couple of hours. You're either going to be at home or you're going to be at work. And that's where we kind of see people really charging. So you have that. And those are usually kind of the options. SMECO has a charger out front of our office where you pay your bills. Free to use, which is nice. And it's always busy.
Yeah.
So I can never take advantage myself.
No. And back to the public charging, I know I've been involved in some of those, citing some of those public chargers. They were placed at public places. So your libraries, your
Courthouse.
parks, courthouse. How many of those do we have, and are we still doing those?
So we installed 40 of the 60 that we had asked to install. And then the Maryland Public Service Commission asked us to stop, that maybe that wasn't the best use of our energy, is putting in those types of chargers. We still own and operate them. They're, going to continue to support that. Now SMECO is kind of starting to do outreach to our commercial customers. Are you looking to energize your fleets? Are you looking to offer workplace charging? That's kind of where we're shifting gears and really looking to that as our next step for commercial charging, is that outreach. What do you expect to do with your fleets?
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense, because there's a certain advantage that comes with electrifying your fleet, and that leads us to Mr. Cockrum. So when it comes to SMECO's fleet, give us an idea of what that fleet is, and how many vehicles are we talking about? What kind of vehicles are we talking about?
We have about 380 pieces of equipment total. Of that, we have 9 fully electric equipment, or pieces of equipment. 4 of them are road going, 3 Lightning pickups, and then 1 Chevy Bolt. We have a couple off-road pieces of equipment that are all electric that previously would have been either propane, diesel, or gas.
And what are those?
Forklifts, things like that.
Okay.
And they have been excellent. We've had no issues out of them. Maintenance is next to none. They get checked like once a year. Batteries topped off, because they have the old serviceable batteries. But
okay.
The Lightnings, we just serviced one this morning. It's literally bring it in, check the washer fluid, check the tires, rotate the tires, and check the brakes, and send it back out.
And that's it.
Yeah, like a half hour as opposed to an hour on a regular pickup. We have 14 hybrid pickup trucks. 12 of them are full-size F-150s.
Okay.
We are kind of using that as our middle ground for vehicles that charging right now just doesn't fit with the way that they operate. The other 2 are the new Ford Mavericks. We just got those. We haven't actually put them on the road yet, but we're excited to see how they work for us.
The Mavericks are hybrids as well.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep. So they're that's a brand new platform from Ford. The last 3 years, they just started producing it 3 years ago.
Okay.
And the hybrid all-wheel drive just became available this year, so that suits our storm readiness purposes. Plus, we have a cargo bed where we can carry material. And for day-to-day operations, it's going to serve the majority of our purposes. So much less costly to maintain than the full-size trucks. So we're definitely looking at how we can save costs and reduce our carbon footprint at the same time.
I think, one of the pillars of SMECO's strategic plan is to be sustainable. And I think we try to do that through our fleet. And I think when most people drive around and they see SMECO trucks, they think of the large bucket trucks.
Yes.
So have we kind of looked at electric bucket trucks in the past, and what do you kind of see as the future of that?
All of our manufacturers at this point have an electric option available.
Mm-hmm.
Fully electric chassis, fully electric boom. But what we found is that their maximum range is about 100 miles. And that's to get you to the job and back, and that's it. And then they also need a level 2 charger, both for the chassis to power the vehicle to get there and for the boom to get to operate the boom.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, it's in our area, it's just too rural to use that. So what we've been looking at, and we've got 3 in the fleet right now, we've got a 4th one on the way, is Altec, our boom manufacturer, calls it a job site energy management system, but it's essentially a electric PTO that runs off a battery. So you use your regular chassis diesel engine to get you to the job site, and then once you're there, you switch over to electric PTO. The engine shuts off.
Mm-hmm.
The electric keeps the air conditioning running, the heat going in the wintertime, but it also operates the boom. And the boom operates faster, quieter. It's a safer job site because it's quieter. And we're not burning diesel fuel. It's great because it charges itself on the way to the job site. You can plug it into a 110 outlet overnight and it'll completely recharge itself.
Wow.
And then if you're out working, if we're working in a storm, 16 hours go by, they've burned through all the battery, it'll just run off the diesel engine just like a regular bucket truck will.
That seems like a great advantage. And what has been the reaction of the linemen who have used it? Have it been pretty positive?
So far, pretty positive. The biggest thing they really like is the quiet job site,
Yes.
especially 2 o'clock in the morning. They're out putting your power up and they're not running a diesel engine, waking you up and adding to your aggravation. Plus, it's safe. They have, if they're operating that diesel engine and somebody sees something and yells, they can hear each other.
Well, I was just thinking about that. There's so much conversation that happens and communications from the ground to the guy in the bucket,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to hear is something we take for granted, but I would think is very advantageous whenever you have a quiet boom.
Yes. There's some trade-offs though. They lose some cargo space in the body.
Okay.
And there is because the battery does run down, so they can be working and then the engine will have to start, and then they've got the loud job site again. But we believe we'll see that all improve over the next few years. We believe as their technology gets better, we're going to see longer and longer battery life.
And you mentioned about the range, the 100 miles range, and I know whenever I talk to people about our bucket trucks, they always marvel at how many miles that we have on those bucket trucks. Give us and those watching an idea of how many miles are on the bucket trucks, and they're right here just in Southern Maryland.
So the mileage is probably not the biggest thing to marvel at. We see 150 to 200,000 miles, and on a Class 8 truck, that's nothing. That's just getting started. But we've got trucks out there with 14 and 15,000 engine hours, and when you translate that to mileage, that's more like 500,000 or 600,000 miles.
That's amazing.
So that's they put the hours in, and that's hours working on the side of the road, hours actually doing work.
Doing work, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important for people to realize that. I think we've looked at the electric options for the bucket trucks, and I think they're going to continue, just like we've seen in regular vehicles. Technology is going to continue to get better, and we'll be there ready to take advantage of that when it becomes economical and worthwhile for our workers. So, Natasha, back to you. Let's talk a little bit about charging, like in your house. So if someone wanted to go and buy an electric vehicle, what's the process for them to get like a charger installed, say in their garage or on the side of their house or wherever?
So there's a couple of different ways. Some of the vehicle manufacturers actually sell a service. Well, they'll come in and install everything for you. Some of them cost, some of them don't. It just kind of depends on the vehicle manufacturer. So it's a full suite of services. They have the electrician, they provide you with the charger, and they do everything. But you can buy a charger. You can buy it Walmart.com, Amazon. You can
Okay.
go right to the manufacturer that makes the chargers. So there's multiple different ways, and then you could have an electrician put it in your garage. Typically, most chargers, level 2 chargers, take either a 40 or a 60 amp breaker. So
Okay.
you're running it from your existing panel to wherever you're installing it, typically the garage. And the chargers can be anywhere between $150 and $1,000. It just kind of depends. And the prices have come down quite a bit since it's really, as vehicle sales have taken off. When I bought my EV almost 4 years ago, I paid about $500 for my charger. But
Okay.
you can get them on Amazon for $200.
Nice.
So it's not bad. And so really, charger, with the wire and the electrician, and you're looking to spend probably about $1,000 to put it in your house,
Hmm.
and then it's there.
But it's a one-time cost, right?
It's a one-time cost.
And the other thing regarding a household decision making when it comes to putting in a charger is SMECO offers time of use rates.
We have a couple of different things. We have a whole home time of use rate for people that can really push their charging to off-peak times. But then we also have a EV TOU rate, which is only for the EV that you have. We have participating vehicle manufacturers, and we have participating charger manufacturers. We're always adding to that. But then we also have a managed charging for your charger, and that same thing, vehicle or charger manufacturers that are participating. And it's kind of like a demand response. SMECO controls when you charge, but it mirrors the time of use rates. $10 a month for that per device. So if you have multiple vehicles, multiple $10 credits on your bill. And then we control everything. And typically customers like that more because they like being able to come home, plug the car into the charger, and nothing happens until we say. And then if you're an EV time of use rate customer, you're controlling it.
And that incentivizes the off-peak charging. So
Yes.
in the summertime when it's 100 degrees, we try to encourage people to charge off-peak.
Off-peak.
So that's, after the 5-6 o'clock time frame when everybody comes home from work and they turn their ovens on, they maybe bump their AC down, et cetera.
Most cars and almost all your charging apps make all of that very easy. I participate in the EV time of use. I was a guinea pig for our billing department to make sure that everything worked. So I was an early adopter for that. That's one of the reasons why I do the EV time of use. But the telematics in my car, I set it up, and I have essentially a laptop screen in my car. So it's very easy to set up. And I tell the car, never start before this time.
Excellent.
Always be done before this time in the morning. And it's pretty seamless.
That's really great to hear. And I think, with anything new, I think people have questions about, like, how am I going to figure all this stuff out? And it sounds as if there's a lot of resources available for whenever somebody just buys one. And, obviously having SMECO as a resource is a big thing as well.
We do have a place on our website that gives you, you can do a car comparison. I drive a Ford Mustang. I want to get a Ford EV. It'll actually do the comparison of what your gas mileage is versus what your charging would be, and it gives you, what you could save. It's a really good source it's a jumping off point, and it tells you we have all of the cars, and if there are still even tax incentives available, because there's still some there. They'll be gone by the end of the year, but they're still there, and it gives you all of that information. Always come to the SMECO website.
And you can
wealth
find
of
that
information.
Wow. So John, just kind of looking ahead, where do you see like SMECO's fleet going in the future? I know it's hard to look in the crystal ball, but
I didn't bring it with me.
where do you see us going in, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
So we're going to remain somewhat conservative as far as adopting EVs. Some other fleets are going full force, like Amazon. They've installed a ton of chargers, and the majority of their fleet's going electric. But we're looking at it case by case, and we're making sure it makes business sense. We are looking at the price per mile, the total cost of ownership of the vehicle, maintenance costs, and things like that. We have found that the EV is about over 120,000 miles is what we're projecting right now with no major repairs is about 10 cents a mile cheaper to operate.
Okay.
And there's a convenience factor to it too. When that operator comes in the morning, it's been plugged in overnight, it's ready to go. He doesn't have to spend 5 minutes putting fuel in the vehicle before he goes out. Right now, the majority of our purchases have been hybrid pickups because they meet our entire operations. And those we've seen about a 10 cent a mile savings just over the ICE vehicles. So an internal combustion engine vehicle. So when you take a F-150 Lightning and compare it to a F-150 with a V8 gas engine, we're saving 20 cents a mile.
Okay.
And the hybrid's falling right there in the middle, somewhere like 10 to 12 cents a mile.
That's the Ford Power Boost.
The Power Boost, yes.
Excellent.
And, they've been excellent. We've got 12 of those in the fleet right now, and so far we haven't had any major issues at all.
And those are the F-150s that you see like that are foreman drive, and they're the other folks who, I guess it would be kind of one of our bread and butter vehicles.
It's pretty much become that. That's the largest portion of our light duty vehicles is the F-150, the Power Boost.
We did talk a little bit about maintenance, but it's important for people to know that we do all of the maintenance right here in house, or most of it, right?
We do like 98% in house. There's a few things we send out because it's because of liability. It's better for us to have a contractor do it because they're the experts,
right?
And like we do the EV preventive maintenance, but if there's a major repair, we'll let the dealer take care of it because we don't have the training, the tools, materials right now. As our fleet expands and we get more EVs, our mechanics will be trained, and at some point they'll be doing those repairs.
Nice. And I think something that for our viewers to know is when there's storms, one of the major components in the sort of the unsung heroes are the folks who work for you. And we take a lot of pride in making sure that our equipment is up to date, it is well maintained, and that it's ready to go when we need it. And when there's a storm and we've got tens of thousands of people out, in addition to the guys on the lines working to get power restored, we got guys who are working in the shop to make sure our equipment's up and running, right?
Yes. When there's an emergency, if something breaks down, it's all hands to get it back on the road as fast as we can.
Whether it's putting chains on the tires for the bucket trucks or God knows some of the times when there's snow and the truck gets stuck, we drop everything, go and get that truck unstuck so we can keep getting power back on.
Yeah, our guys they take a lot of pride in that those vehicles are on the road, and they'll do whatever it takes.
Nice.
To get it done.
So Natasha, is there anything I forgot to ask you about when it comes to EVs, or any messages that you'd like to tell our viewers before we end?
If there are questions about EVs, always feel free to reach out. And we want to be here to help you answer, is an EV right for me? Some people will say yeah, and some people are on the fence. Let us help you answer that question.
Yeah, that's great.
And they're fun to drive. I will say that. EVs are very fun to drive.
Nice. Well, John, Natasha, this has been a real pleasure. I think a lot of people will find a lot of information because of this podcast. And the main message is that if you have questions, give us a call. Go to our website, www.smeco.coop, and the information is there. And thanks, guys, both for being here.
Thanks
for having me.
Awesome.